Yo guys, it's Matt from Epsilon Mining coming back at you with another video. I just kind of want to do a video today over how I really think this Ethereum merge thing is going to play out if and when they actually do the merge. So as you guys know, basically 95% of essentially the profits are coming from Ethereum to Ethereum miners. Those Ethereum miners can be either GPU mining or even ASIC mining, right? But what I think is going to happen over time is we're going to see essentially a balancing act with regard to the profitability of mining in general, because like basically once on day one when Ethereum goes away, everyone has to start mining the other coins. Profitability is going to drop off a cliff basically, and essentially it's going to be survival of the fittest at that point, I believe. So whoever has the most efficient GPUs and whoever has the cheapest electrical rate, those who have free power will be able to mine longer than those who have relatively higher electrical bills. Anyone above, the median point of the electrical cost will basically be wiped off the map, because you'd have to be an idiot to continue mining. Say you cost you $500 a month in electricity costs and you're only getting $200 yield. Why would you do that? It's better just to buy at that point or invest your money elsewhere, right? So let's just talk kind of a bit what I think is going to happen here, and why I don't think it's going to be too doom and gloom, but I think it's not going to be good either. But I guess we'll have to see what happens, and there's a lot of different factors involved that can come into play here, right? But essentially, we're going to take a look here. There's two factors or there's multiple factors that play into how much profit you make, right? So obviously the profitability of your GPUs, how efficient they are, your electrical rate. The second to that is the value of the coin itself. So the number of people buying the coin and holding the coin will increase the value of the coin as well, with regard to the circulating supply and things like that. With the way the market is going right now, everyone's kind of in a tank, in the crapper right now with regard to the market values of basically every coin across the board. It's safe to say that profitability has even dropped now. If you look at even, for example, Bitcoin here, Bitcoin itself is obviously down. No news to the rest of the world. We're down quite a bit here, and we are not doing too well. We're at $20,000 and teetering on 19,000 territory again for Bitcoin value here. Also, another thing that you should understand is that as the number of miners come online, profitability goes down, because this is due in part to something called network hash rate and difficulty. So the more hash rate you throw onto a network, the more the rewards need to be split across all those miners, therefore the profitability goes down. But you have different degrees of who's going on with regard to like how strong they are as a miner. What I mean by how strong they are as a miner is basically the lower your power is, more efficient your cards or devices are, whether it be an ASIC or a GPU, the stronger you are, and the older your cards are, so the less efficient you are, and the higher your electrical rate, the weaker you are, and the weak are basically going to end up falling off. So let's just take a look here at this chart here, and I'm going to try to kind of like this, kind of show what I feel is going to happen right now. So we're going to put basically the number of miners in the blue series. So we're going to say right now at this time the merge happens here, right? Let's say the number of miners falls into this category here. So we are roughly there. There's a number of miners on the network, okay? And profitability at this point will also be relatively good as well, right? Okay, this is essentially right before the merge happens, okay? Now, as we see the merge happens, the number of people on the network will remain the same for at least a short period of time, maybe a couple of days or a day or two, until people start taking notice of the profits dropping. Essentially, what's going to have to happen is that people are going to have to move to these other coins. When you move to those other coins, profitability is going to drop like this. It's going to drop a lot. Okay, the same number of people are going to be on the network. Okay, so it'll drop to like maybe like really like bad, like low here, depending on obviously where you are in the profitability level, and like I mentioned earlier, how strong of a miner are you. This will continue on for a while until people start realizing, hey, they start doing the math. They go to whattomine.com and they start realizing, wow, I'm actually losing money now. I'm losing money. So what's gonna have to happen is, followed suit by that, you're gonna see a massive drop in network hash rate as well as the difficulty. Right? So you'll see a massive drop in difficulty like this. Okay, it'll drop down, And what that's going to do is it's going to slightly bring up profitability. Okay? At that point. So you're going to see this kind of thing, and it'll drop down to here, right? As these people start to see the profitability drop, increase, you'll start seeing people come back on to the network as well, right? And basically what that's going to happen is that's going to drop the profitability again. It's kind of like an inverse relationship, because the more people come on, the higher the hash rate becomes, the lower, higher the network difficulty, the less the rewards. So we're basically going to see over the course of many months, if not years, depending how much endurance people have, you're going to see basically a sort of like an up and down momentum like this. Okay. And you're going to see, unless there's a huge value increase of the coin values themselves, like there's a lot of institutional investment or people start buying the coin like crazy, which is unlikely due to the fact that we're now going into a recession, you're going to see, essentially, you're going to start to see this profitability over time will kind of be inverse to the amount of hash rate. You see what I mean? Now this is going to continue on for so long, I think, and unless the values go up, and there's a lot of different factors here that could happen, that I think what's going to happen is this is going to drop and start dipping for a lot of people into the red. Right? It'll start dipping into the red. And this might coincide with, people jumping on like that, right? And people will start seeing that it's going to start jumping into the red. And then it's going to further cause people to drop off the cliff here, right? So we're just going to put a legend here so you know what I'm talking about here. Oh, it's green. Green here and blue at the top. So this is basically the number of miners. Okay, we'll just keep it simple. And this is the profitability. Okay, we're going to keep that going. Now, as this drops down into the negative for the majority of people, only the strongest GPU miners are going to actually stay on, because these are people that have either free electricity, solar, super efficient ASICs that are hashing like 500 mega hash at like 200 watts. These guys are going to stay on. So a lot of people, a large majority of people that are GPU mining are just going to fall off, right? So as this drops down here, see, as this went up, people are going to take notice, right? So at this point, they started going in because they saw the profit. They saw they might have seen the profitability rise, right, as their hash rate dropped. So it's going to be a weird psychological sort of warfare between everyone amongst themselves. Like, so this went up here because, for example, so this point in time here, I should have done this line. This would have peaked, right? Because this dropped, and then what's going to happen is it's going to tank at some point like that, because people are going to start going on it, dropping it so much below profitability levels, right? So what's going to happen is this is going to start going in the red for the majority of people. Therefore, this is going to drop lower and lower and lower. And only the people left within this segment here are going to stay on, because they're still profitable, but for the large majority of people, and I'm going to say these numbers will fall into the averages, I guess. The average number, the average profitability, right? So we'll put that in there as well. Just put that as average. Average. Okay. So what that's going to do is it's going to cause more people to drop off, right? So as you see, people started seeing it in the red, and they're going to start dropping off like crazy, because it's could be dropping even lower, right? So what's going to happen is this is going to rise back up again. Okay. This is going to rise back up again. Like, it's still going to be in the red, but just due to the fact that people are coming off of it, it's going to go back up again. So we're back in maybe the green, but we're just barely a break even. And what people are going to start seeing that again, and then people are going to obviously hop on again, right? And then that's going to cause it to drop down again. You see what I'm saying, right? It'll go down and it'll start dropping down again, and people will say, "Oh, I'm just breaking even," and it's going to drop down again as well. So what's going to end up happening here is that we're going to go through this cycle multiple times over who knows how long. This could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? And this could continue on for much longer than most people can hold off, and essentially a lot of people will get fed up with waiting. That a lot of people are just stop mining. So we're going to have this low level of, for example, miners that maybe just hovers just above this line here, but it's in direct correlation to what they're seeing on what to mine and the profitability. So what's going to have to happen here is this thing's going to go, it's going to go from green to red to green to red, week to week, day to day, and it'll be hard to even tell like where it's at. But the thing is that you have to understand is that it's not going to drop like this. It doesn't make any sense, because if it dropped like this, almost no one will be profitable except the people that are left there, and it wouldn't happen statistically because people will see that it's dropping so much and everyone will drop off. If this line drops to zero, you have essentially zero hash rate on the networks. Okay, so that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It will drop just below profit, and correlating with that, we'll see a drop in the number of people on there. It will slowly recover. As you can see, the lines will be correlated, so it'll go up, and then as people react to it, it'll drop back down again. Okay, and you'll have this fight over time where it's just, or maybe just marginally a few cents per day. Some days and other days it'll be like nothing per day, and then some days it'll be something per day. If you average it out, you'll probably end up just mining and breaking even. And this will happen for until enough people basically, okay, there's a couple things. So people get fed up with it. So this, let's see, we'll draw a line here and we'll say this is kind of like the break hold threshold, right? So at this point, over time, more people will get fed up. So at this point in time, let's say, you know, you might see, let's draw a couple lines here. So we'll do this a couple times. This is where we're going to see drop-offs, and it could be staggered in different ways, right? You might see a 5% drop-off, which means people sell and get out of GPU mining completely because they get fed up, right? They don't want to sit there, and this is going on for 6 months, and they just don't want to do it anymore. So they sell their GPUs, they get rid of their equipment. That's 5. New people aren't coming on because new people are coming on and seeing how crappy it is. They're like, why would I spend all this money on GPUs, on hardware, if that's new people won't come on. We're going to start seeing maybe a 15% drop off over time. We're going to keep seeing people quit, and people will continue quitting. What I mean by quit is they sell their hardware and they get out of it, which makes it much harder for them to get back in. So they can't just on the flip of a switch flip their machines on or off, because literally their machines are gone at that point. They've sold them. We'll have a continued drop in hash rate or GPUs. Will continue to drop off, and we could see up to, I think, between 75 to 90%. I don't know, I'm just throwing those numbers out there, but it could be as high as 90% of GPU miners quitting because they get fed up, right? Let's say this is a 75% drop off. They sell all their equipment because most people don't have the ability to go long term doing nothing, right? They're just gonna be fed up with it. They're gonna quit their mining operation. They'll go spend their money elsewhere, or they'll spend the money on something that they can enjoy today, like a vacation, or they'll buy themselves a new car, or they'll start another business. They're not going to continue on. It doesn't make any sense to continue on. But the thing is, these people sell on a permanent basis, which means not permanent forever. I mean, you could always buy your stuff back, but the thing is, makes it much more inconvenient for them to just flip a switch, right? So as this drops off over time, what you'll see is, and this could take years, like I said, what you'll see, I think, is slowly over time, this will start to go up. See, this profitability will start to go up because people are actually dropping off, and they won't be able to do this tug of war forever because they will drop off almost on a permanent basis, right? Right, and then you'll have essentially, this will continue on for some time, and you might have a slight, maybe, let me choose the wrong color here. So at least the blue is the miners. Blue is the miners. So the blue is there, and we're going to basically see this will kind of drop, but it will stay relatively steady because people are turning on, and this is what's going to happen until essentially a project takes hold, or en masse people start taking notice of the profitability. Like we reach a point where profitability is really high. It wasn't one point, like back in 2018, and the hash rate was low. Right, we had low hash rate, right? We had low hash rate. Hash rate, essentially profitability was growing at a rate faster than the hash rate. You understand what I mean? Okay. So what's gonna have to happen is we're gonna have a cycle that's gonna repeat all over again. So people are gonna notice how profitable GPU mining is. Again, that could be on any coin. It could be like a BS coin or whatever. And then people are gonna start doing like this, just like they did back in 2018. They're gonna start going on, right, until And then this profitability will start to taper off again, right? As more people start coming on, right? And then we're going to go back to the same thing again where it drops down again, you know, and we'll see what happens then. But that's only because people start selling their hardware, right? They start selling their hardware. So we might lose 5% of all miners. We might lose then 15%, 50%. There might be some huge mining farms going bankrupt and shutting down because like literally they can't continue this tug of war. You might get people that just get fed up with it and they want to have their basement full of GPUs or they want to have their house full of mining hardware they're not using. They're like, I'm just going to sell it now. I need the money now. And they're just going to sell it and get out. And this is what's going to happen. It's going to take 5 to 6 years, I think, hopefully less, for the cycle to repeat itself. But the thing is, if you could hold on to your gear this whole time and not sell, you'll be ready to switch it back on and continue on with it. But there's going to be a tug of war here, and we don't know how long this in this zone here, how long this is going to be. This tug of war is basically it's going to be just like an up and down tug of war where it's going to be practically zero, but it won't go too low. It won't go ridiculously unprofitable unless your hydro rates are really high. So if you have the best of the best hardware, the best electricity rates, you'll be able to hold on and into this tug of war for a while. Or if you can't, you can shut off and wait for the future, essentially. And this is what's going to happen. You're not gonna see this stupid line. Like you're not gonna see, like some people are saying, you're not gonna see, like it's just dumb. You're not gonna see this. Sorry, where the heck's the red? Come on. You're not going to see this. You're not going to see profitability drop so low because it makes zero sense. Because if it did, the networks would tank because no one would mine anymore. It would be like they're paying the network to mine. Like why would you pay to mine? You wouldn't. It's gonna be a tug of war along the break-even point for the most efficient ASICs and GPUs, and then you're gonna have to wait till everyone starts getting sick of it. Wives start complaining, girlfriends start complaining, people need the money for their rent, they fall behind, they need the money, so they sell their GPUs, they get tempted, and they say, oh, it's sitting in the corner, I'll just sell it now. So they sell their GPUs, and they start dropping off, and you could, I mean, if you want, you could do that, but you're probably going to lose money, obviously, with the GPU market being down as well. But if you wait long term, it might be better as well, or you could sell at a loss and buy them back. The problem is if you wait till it's up to here, it's too late. Like you have to buy back now, probably the hardware is going to go up in price, and it's a vicious cycle again. Now, if we could just take a look here at the Ethereum difficulty, I want to take a look at this real quickly and show you guys correlations. So obviously, if you look back here at 2016, there's like 5 terahash on Ethereum, right? Because no one was really mining it because the profitability was so low, right? Here we go again, network Ethereum hash rate. So here's the hash rate, and that's the difficulty. So as the Ethereum hash rate went up, so did the difficulty. They're directly correlated. Okay, look at this little spike here and a drop, spike and a drop there as well. Now the thing is that when you're down here at this level here, it just because this line's lower, that essentially means there's less miners, right? So the profits are very low at this point, right? So there's not a lot of people on here. People start taking notice of profitability. They start hopping on, but no one's hopping on here until there's some sort of event which causes it to go up again, which means enough people start getting off the network. But this tug of war of profitability went on for years here. Like we're talking 2-3 years until it started getting spikes and probably investments from larger players into the market. So essentially the profits were low here, but they weren't negative. No one's going around mining at like huge, it could maybe a small negative, right? But we're not going around, no one's gonna be losing $500 a month to mine, right? No one's doing that. Because so this was hovering around the break-even point. Like I'm not sure if you look back at the profitability, but I'm pretty sure if you did, you'd be able to see that there's barely breaking even on these rigs. If you look at watch some of the videos, watch from Red Panda and whatnot, back at this time, people were barely making, like a whole rig's making like 8 cents a day, right? But it was never like minus thousands, because it's not possible. It wouldn't happen. The psychology of a human and humans en masse is we're not going to like take big L's across the board. Most people will quit, and as people quit, it breeds opportunities for the value of the coin to go back up. So I don't know what you guys think about this, if you think my theory is bogus or if it kind of makes a lot of sense, but there's going to be a point in time where there's going to be just fighting. It's like a tug of war on that break-even point, and only the strongest of the strongest will be able to survive and stay there, or the most patient. Like if you have inefficient rigs and you could just maybe just wait it out and see what happens. Unfortunately, most people don't have patience, and they're worried that they're going to sit on those hardware. It's going to be worth nothing if they don't sell it. I think it's going to come back in time, right? So as always, don't invest money into GPUs or hardware. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but don't invest money into hardware or crypto or things that you aren't ready to just kind of lose, right? So it's kind of why the strongest, the survival of the fittest. It is a survival of the fittest. It's evolution. It's essentially crypto evolution. The strongest, the most evolved GPU miners or ASIC miners will survive. The weak will fall off, so that there can be, I guess, a return to glory again in the future. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.